This weekend, Andy is summoning the Megazord, Ryan accidentally buys real estate, and we play as an immortal shape-shifting Wario. I'm Ryan.
I'm Andy.
And this is Weekend Rental, episode 213. Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode. Andy, how have you been?
Not too bad. Scrambling because forgot what day it was, apparently. And
well, I did move the podcast on us, so I'm partly to blame for that. So it's my fault. We talked a little bit last Friday. We got to jump into a game, Sea of Thieves, and test out the new season with our friend Fraser. And it turns out that new season's a bunch of bullshit. And we wasted like however long it took to do that mission and got like 0 out of it.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be something we're missing.
Or maybe not. I don't know.
Or maybe it's one of those things where it's just like an extra thing that you're doing other things and you see the stuff. So you might as well just kind of carry it around, and if you get to it, you get to it type of thing. I don't know.
And maybe that's why that stuff was on the pirate ships. So we learned the hard way that pirate ships now come equipped with like the smugglers' TNT barrels. So that ended horribly for us on accident twice, which basically just like insta sinks your ship. And then you're just like, well, what the hell now?
Yeah.
So
used to be, they've, the ghost ships used to be no problem, but now they're, you don't want them by you apparently.
No, not at all. But yeah, just that whole like fact that they introduced a smuggler faction that does not have its own guild or faction or flag or rep at this point. It was basically just a super elongated merchant quest, which merchant was already the worst faction. Right. Like you just made it shittier and longer and like way more unpredictable.
Right. And there's not a specific place. Or I mean, there probably is, but it's not like it's all the other outposts that you can do merchant quests anyway, right?
Right.
So,
like, if you're going to put in the time, you want the rep or you want the treasure. And like you pointed out, like we turned in all the loot and got 0 rep and 0 treasure for that. Like, I think we made like 10,000 gold maybe, but that's not like in an hour and a half of Sea of Thieves. That's nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, we could have done any other quest and like just hand over fist made money.
Yep.
So, yeah. Disappointing because this year has been very strong with new content. Like I was really getting amped on the game.
And considering that, their other project's been canceled now, you would hope that there's probably something bigger coming, something a little bit more in depth than just kind of bolting on this stuff. I would hope.
Yeah, it was like I kind of didn't get what they were doing with that. Like, and hopefully they fix it at some point, but they've already announced what the next season is and the second half of like what's still being introduced in this season. And I don't think they're fixing this thing in the near future anytime soon. So it's disappointing.
Yeah.
But
live service games, right?
Yeah. At least Fraser got his like a commendation for, sinking ships a bunch. Because I think we sank like 6 times in that session, which isn't out of the ordinary some nights, but like when you really we didn't encounter another player once. Like it was just like a random game shit blowing us up. Which shouldn't happen that frequently in Sea of Thieves, but I don't know.
Yeah, it was. It is one of those nights where you're like, we picked the wrong thing to do. Like, obviously, we had to try what the new stuff.
Yes,
but now we know. Yeah,
and then when we did try something that we knew was more reliable, the crate thing or the keg barrel just like ended our fun pretty quickly. And it's like, well. I think we can just wrap this. This is the game telling us to just fuck off for the night. So,
it
was still fun though.
Oh, yeah.
But I think we're gonna have to switch it up for the next game night because I don't think jumping back into Sea of Thieves right now is the thing. So, we'll see.
I do enjoy Sea of Thieves, like that type of. There's specific. I really like the vault ones. Those are fun.
Yeah. Yeah, and we got like 2/3 into the vault one, but we just at that point, it's like midnight's rolling around, and like, how much longer are we going to be here? So
the booby traps are interesting, but
yes.
I guess like once you do that the first 2 times, then it's like, well,
right,
they kind of wear off, I guess. But
and I feel like they planted those booby traps strategically just so you would inadvertently blow up the payload and kill yourself and your whole team. So it's kind of shitty, but it was still. I mean, you make your own fun in Sea of Thieves. We still had some fun, but it was not productive. I'm sure I was down in gold by the time like we'd bought all the supplies and everything for the night. So
I guess it's just disappointing that like they haven't really expanded too much of what the core game is. I mean, it's still pirating to different islands and stuff like that. So at this point, you would think in a live service game, it's like, well, there's a lot more like, oh, you go to this island and it's a whole other thing, right?
Yeah, they're missing the whole make the world feel alive.
Yeah,
because it's very rare. I guess that last time we played, where we played as Reaper, like it felt like a populated game and like it was like actual chaos. But those nights don't happen often.
Yeah.
It was fun though, but also disappointing at the same time. I think my anticipation for that season was just instantly squashed once I realized what we got out of that. Plus, like we were saying, like I think everywhere we sailed on that map, we were either in the storm or on the verge of the storm the entire session, so it just kind of sucked.
Yeah. I have been playing a lot more of another live service game that...
Oh, I see that.
You know, when you compare it, I mean, it's not unfair to compare Sea of Thieves to Fortnite, obviously, because it's one makes billions of dollars and the other one is still popular, but...
Right.
It's amazing that Fortnite can breathe new freshness into it every season and add something wild and crazy to it. And by the end of the month, you're sick of it. Like, you don't even want to do the thing that it's trying, you know, the new thing that they've added at that point. But I just wish maybe Sea of Thieves did some stuff like that. I mean, I guess they're a little bit more precious about being a strictly pirate game, so it's obviously you're not going to have all the wild tie-ins, but
also I think their engine is like held together with like duct tape and like super glue at this point. So
there's definitely still bugs in that game for sure.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, they have Power Rangers, which is right up my alley. The game continues to reap on people's nostalgia like that. So,
do you have to buy the skins, I suppose, too?
The battle pass includes the Green Ranger.
Okay.
And the white.
The worst Ranger.
You know, you can turn them white too if you want, but
sure.
But yeah,
it's still Jason.
If you want,
or no, yeah, Jason, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
If you, but yeah, then you have to buy all the other colors, I guess, if you want those. But and from what I can tell, they've strictly, you know, keeping to the original diamond-shaped, you know, outfits and all that. So it's not like it's getting crazy into like every new season that they had and all that stuff.
I mean, we're like 30 years deep in that stuff, so
right. Yeah. If you're doing nostalgia, you just got to do the beginning stuff, right?
That's pretty cool. I suppose like it's just mostly cosmetics too for the weapons. Like you're using their like pistols and stuff, but it's just doesn't change the gameplay in any significant way.
Well, there's one major thing that happens usually every round is the megazord is like summoned, and the first person to it gets to control it, and you're just a giant thing on the whole map, you know, and you're trying to kill a giant bug that Rita turns huge or whatever, so you're killing that. But then you're also trying to squash all the little people that are trying to shoot at you below, because everybody else gets rewarded depending on how much they damage you. So it kind of turns into a one versus many thing in the middle of a match, which is pretty cool.
Is it pretty balanced, or like if you get the Zord, like you're probably going to win?
Yeah, I mean, there is a timer, so like you're going to run out of the Zord anyway, but
sure.
Yeah, so it's not unlimited, but it definitely feels pretty good when you're in the Zord, obviously, because you could just wreak havoc. And Everything is so tiny and small compared. But it's amazing that,
pretty cool.
You can be in that giant map and then, the music starts, the intro to Power Rangers, and then the pieces are just flying all over from the other, pieces of the Zord are flying together in the middle of the... That
sounds pretty cool.
That's what's impressive, that they can keep the same scale of the giant map that they have, but also like have things happen like that. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. That's a cool tie-in.
Yep.
And I'm sure it sold lots of skins too.
Oh yeah.
So
yep.
Works all the way around.
I just wonder how long that thing still runs on PlayStation 4, right?
Yeah, and the original Switch. Poorly.
Yeah. Like at some point, if they want to keep doing stuff like that, they got to start, like this thing doesn't run anymore.
I would imagine at some point, like the engine just gets too updated and they have to phase like legacy platforms out.
Yeah.
But who knows?
Yeah. They, this last weekend I didn't try it, but they added some mode that has like local voice chat or something like that. And like you can like join up, group up and stuff like that. I don't know.
Seems scary for children.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but in the landscape of Roblox, it was a weird choice, I thought.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it seems like, Epic too is pretty sensitive about like keeping things PG for kids.
Mm-hmm.
They have the parental controls in place, but like how many parents set up those accounts, you know what I mean?
Right. I did, and it was a nightmare, so they never want to do that
same
again.
Here, yeah. Yeah, I was not a fan. And then, the whole like creating a third email because all the other emails have been used.
Yep.
But at least you can't talk to strangers, and that was the goal.
Yep,
so.
Yep. But with one Switch, now it's all of a sudden... Yeah, I don't know about the parent thing. If that control modes that they can play.
Yeah, that's a good question. The parental controls on like the Switch and stuff, you can get pretty granular on like which games even they can boot into. So I kind of just let him play whatever he wants, but I have chat restricted to friends only.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't played much for games because I've been off this week. So my wife and I did some camping. Just got back today. And then did some hiking, did some camping, did some breweries around the area. It was beautiful weather, so we got to kayak and be outdoors and do all that stuff, make steaks over the fire. And then like the second half of this week, the plan was to remodel our kitchen and update all that. Surprise twist, turns out I bought a house though when I left for vacation and I wasn't aware of it. So got to the campsite, set everything up, was going to get like groceries and stuff, and like checked my phone and I was like, oh, so that incredibly lowball offer I put on the house that I assumed was going to be declined, they accepted.
Oh.
So I guess I buy a house now and I have to like sign disclosures and like get inspectors lined up. And so my week has changed drastically.
Wow.
So yeah. So now I'm doing an inspection tomorrow. I meet with the bank on Friday to figure out loan options and what we're going to put down. And then I guess I need to start packing up everything you see in the background around me if you're watching the video, because I got to get all my shit out of my house. So kind of crazy.
That's really exciting. Wow.
Yeah, I want to throw up. The rest of the family's excited. I don't handle big monetary or life decisions well, so this is awful for me. But yeah, it is exciting, and we got a incredibly good deal on this house. So I didn't think they'd go for it. They'd already we looked at this house and had some complaints, and I knew what things were going to cost to fix. And then it just kept dropping since we looked at it, and it was down $25,000. I offered $25,000 under what they're currently at, and then we got a deal. So yeah, so I'm moving not very far, but I'm moving into a much bigger house. So we'll have, I think it's 5 bedrooms, 3.5 baths.
Wow.
So
yeah, that's
2 of those bedrooms are very small, but
still, that's wow.
So yeah, we're projected to close at the end of October.
Oh,
so
wow.
It's coming up
That's
quick.
really fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So then just been some back and forth because we're dicking around on well, they're going to repair some siding thing that's under warranty. I'm I don't give a shit about the siding, but okay. And I was like, well, if they're repairing it under warranty, it should be done before I do the inspection. And they claim they can't possibly make that happen before the inspection date is due. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we're inspecting it with the shitty siding on, and then you're going to get your house appraised with the shitty siding on as well. So whatever. It's fine. So yeah, so trying to figure that all out now, which is crazy. And not to mention, I still have stuff I have to update in my house, just not my kitchen anymore. So we got painting we're doing in the next couple of days, and I got to patch in some flooring. And
yeah. And the flip side of that, now you have to sell your house. That's a whole other thing. Yeah.
Yes, and that's the part that like is vomit inducing to me, because it's like, well, I'm obviously drawing equity out of my house to like put a big down payment on this one, or a good down payment, and it's like, well, what if it doesn't sell? Like, or what if it sells for like half of what I'm expecting, and then I'm like in the whole 40,000, like then I'm fucked. And so I'm just trying not to think about that stuff. It should all work out just fine, but my brain doesn't go to just fine. My brain goes to like, you just fucked yourself. So in reality, it'll probably all be pretty smooth. So
yep.
So we'll see.
Well, that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah. I guess everyone keeps telling me that. We'll go with it's awesome. So yeah, and then what was the other thing? Oh, Dreckerfest I did too after our last recording. So they had that big Dreckerfest. The brewery in town is called Drecker. And they have like a festival every year and get like weird craft brews and food trucks, and then they had the Motion City Soundtrack concert, which was actually really awesome, and it was free. So they played a really good set. And like, actually my daughter was like really loving the band after that. I was
really?
like, see, your dad doesn't just like shitty music. So then I gave her a bunch of the vinyl out of my collection. I was like, just put it back in here when you're done listening to it. So yeah, very, very good set. Like they put on an incredible live show, and like, you know, their singer, like he sings very like high register and stuff too, and just nailed it the whole time.
Really?
I will say it was probably the first time I've seen a live band where he had to take like a mid set, like, let's just chat while I like suck on my inhaler so that I can breathe again for the rest of this. But yeah, very good show, especially for free, obviously.
Yeah.
So that was exciting. So yeah, that's kind of what I've been up to. I've been gamed a lot. And then there was obviously the Nintendo Direct the day after we recorded last time, which was good and bad, right? Like 40th anniversary of Mario, but they're not really celebrating it in a very meaningful way. We're for some reason getting a Switch 2 native port of Mario Wonder that just came out, so that feels like a cash grab.
Yeah.
With some
mini games
DLC bullshit. Yeah, that's also a cash grab. So I'm not sure how to feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this whole it's better than just straight porting it. But
is it?
I don't know. I mean, would it be any cheaper if they were just doing a normal port? Probably not. So at least you're getting some content.
What is the Galaxy 1 and 2 port costing us that's only coming out on Switch? There's no Switch 2 port for that. So I assume we're getting that for 60. Like, that is such a bonkers choice to not just like, fuck you, buy a Switch 2. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because then I feel gypped as a Switch 2 owner. Like, what did I buy it for then? Like, this is a pretty significant release and it's available to everybody. Like, sure, it's going to run better on the Switch 2, but
yeah,
I don't know.
And it cuts off the whole 3D All-Stars thing at the knees a little bit with all that too, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, well, that it's not surprising at all, but
no, it's not. It's just weird. Like, I didn't feel like they did anything that like truly felt this is how we should celebrate Mario. And then
with Yoshi,
obviously the big Yoshi game. I'm like, why is this part of that? That is nothing. I thought they were going to say like we were remastering Yoshi's Island, and I've been like, no, fuck you. Like, we don't need this. We did get the release date for Prime 4, which was 12/4. Is that right?
December
4th. Yeah. So, like we hoped, it's coming out this year. That'll be the big one.
With a motorcycle. Samus on a motorcycle.
Yeah, I'm kind of afraid for this now. Like, are they just making it like Zelda with Metroid in it? Like, is it Breath of the Wildified in some way that it doesn't need to be? I don't know. It looked cool, but it also didn't look like what I expect from Prime. And maybe that's okay. still excited either way, I think.
Yeah.
And then we got like a very cash grab. This game just came out, DLC for Donkey Kong Bonanza, that I felt torn about. Like, one, like it's a great game and it deserves DLC, but two, you clearly had this shit probably in the bag, and why wasn't it just included?
Mm.
And then I bought it and played it, and I don't know that that's worth $20. Like, DK Island is cool, but it's just like a gold fountain. Like, there's no real reason to be there, and like the kind of roguelike elements of these bonus missions are not all that fun. They're just more like smash and race the clock. So it's kind of the elements of the game that maybe weren't my favorite component on full display. So
yeah, I think we're maybe getting close to the we're over the hill on roguelikes, I think, now, because when we're just bolting them on just for fun.
Yeah. And it's weird that they set it up like, well, you just go talk to the original big bad of this whole campaign, and they're like, yeah, sure, I'll work for you now. Like, I'm not after bananas. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll help you out. Like, well, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I played maybe 2 hours of it, and it's nice to have some more content, but I don't think I'm going to probably get my $20 out of it. And that's more of a me problem maybe than the content, but it just feels a little dirty.
Remember when they gave DLC away on the expansion pass for the...
Yeah. And remember the Wii U era where they just gave you DLC?
Yeah.
Because, like, hey, we're just going to keep expanding this game?
Yep. Oh, gosh.
I don't know.
The
Nintendo feels increasingly, like, hungry and predatory on their fan base in this era. Especially with all the amiibo they announced that we don't fucking need.
Oh.
And these things cost, like, $30 to $40 now.
Yeah, it's crazy how expensive they are. And then it's not even like, if it was a huge, like the Donkey Kong one with Pauline, it's like, okay, that's a huge landmark thing.
Sure.
But like all the other stuff, I mean, when we're getting like Kirby ones, which are cool that you can kind of switch them around and do that stuff, but it's like,
yeah, you know who else did that? Skylanders.
Right. Exactly. Or whatever that ship one was. The
oh, yeah, that fucking thing. I still have that somewhere in the dustbin. So, yeah. I don't know. I felt like it was a solid enough direct, like just based on the whole Prime finally getting its date, but there wasn't I was hoping for a few more like ahas or like this great thing is out now, and I don't know. It felt like a B- sort of direct, I guess.
Yeah. How do you feel about the movie going directly into Galaxy? Like,
I don't think it'll probably tie in well. I forgot about that. Yeah, they announced the sequel to the Mario movie next spring. Chris Pratt's back, so we're all excited about that. Yeah. I mean, that's tough, right? Because like Galaxy is so much of like, when I think of the canon of the Mario universe, like those games are great, but I don't think they are mass appeal big. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe they had more of an impact on like the 20-something crowd than they did with me.
Yeah, but I just think it's a lot of what you're getting out of that movie is the atmosphere of like the surrounding Mushroom Kingdom and all that stuff. And it's like, well, Galaxy obviously takes a lot of that away.
I feel like it's probably easy. It was a push from DreamWorks where they're like, well, we can do anything now because we've left the Mushroom Kingdom and then this is space. Because it goes in really weird places in Galaxy, right? For like a Mario universe. So I think it probably was more just them getting the freedom to be like, well, we'll just DreamWorks the shit out of this and whatever we come up with, you know?
Yep.
I was surprised that it's that far along, that obviously it's going to be almost completed if they're putting it in theaters in 9 months. So,
yeah, I'm sure it'll make a lot of money again. But.
Yeah. Are we going to get a sequel to Peaches, though? Because Jack Black needs another banger.
I mean, he seems like you get a song whenever you get a deal with him.
Yeah. If he doesn't play the saxoboom in this one, I'm going to be upset.
Yep. Now,
yeah.
Amanda was watching this, and she saw part of it, and she's like, "You need to buy that and send it to Ryan immediately." Any guesses on what this
Virtual Boy?
Nope.
Oh.
The talking flower.
Oh God, I hate that thing. And I told my wife I'm probably already going to buy it. Yeah, I hated those things so much. The fact that they just like have an ambient flower that will just like randomly speak to you is so creepy.
Yep. That's like
what is it listening for?
Yep.
Yeah. That I'm curious on the price point on that. Like, are we talking like a Larmo? $100? Or I mean, if this thing's like 40, like sure. Like it's a nice collectible and it does something fun, but yeah. And then that Virtual Boy announcement was the other big one.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking Nintendo, the company that for the longest time didn't even have the Virtual Boy in their timeline of consoles on their official website. And to see them like fully come back, fully embrace that, charge you $100 for a docking station essentially, or you could buy a Labo for $20. Yeah. But then to give you all 14 games, which I hope they give them to you all at once, but they'll probably trickle them out.
Yeah.
That was the cool part. Chris from Stone Age Gamer made a really cool video on how he theorizes, because the whole thing was like, well, you can only play these if you have the Switch Online expansion pass plus put it in this peripheral.
How does that know that?
He was like, right. And he's theorizing that like that might not be true because with the Labo VR stuff, if you docked it, it just stopped the mirror mode and like put it 2D on the screen. So he's like, yeah, and most of these games are like totally playable in 2D by other means,
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, that's a really cool theory, and I hope you're correct. And then I made the mistake of commenting on it and saying, like, I think that's a great idea. Like, these games are totally playable in 2D for the most part, and you don't really lose anything by not having the 3D. And then I forgot it's the fucking internet, and that people just go to comment sections to comment on the comments instead of just leaving them the fuck alone like they should. And those things in my mind are a channel to like talk to the content creator, not to get in an argument. So I ended up just deleting that post within about 2 hours after like the third comment, telling me how I was such a dumb fuck and the 3D is like the most amazing part of the Virtual Boy, which I'm sorry, internet, fuck you. It's not. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick at best. It's essential almost never. And those games are just fine in 2D. And I forgot why I hate YouTube comment sections.
Now, if
it just annoyed me.
If they brought this out as only 2D and they did not have this option for 3D, then I could see people being somewhat disappointed.
Sure.
But to go the opposite way and say, hey, for accessibility's sake, this is amazing to just have these games available for everyone to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there are several games in that catalog that like only use the 3D as a gimmick.
Oh,
and those people being like super critical of my opinion that it's just fine without for the ease of just sitting on your couch, which is true. And that was the biggest like killer of the Virtual Boy was like, you can't share the experience with anyone. So how does anyone else see that it's cool if they don't stick their face in it and when nobody's buying it?
Right.
I don't know. It just really annoyed me. And I wanted to be like, really? Like, how long did you leave your 3D slider up on your 3DS? Remember when they just forgot about that and made the 2DS?
Yep.
It's the same shit.
And at least that you could just, it was still comfortable to play, whereas like
right.
The Virtual Boy is just not, it's not a,
no.
It's not worth
I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited about it genuinely. I just wish fucking gatekeeping fucks weren't all over the place. Yeah. So it annoyed me.
I'm sure there'll be
and that's why I don't comment on YouTube anymore.
I'm sure there'll be a 3D print that will be available for this thing immediately, but
yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's about time they kind of like embraced the lore of the Virtual Boy. I mean, for a large section of the audience of Nintendo, most people probably, when you think of the millions and millions of systems sold, most people have probably never experienced it. So it's cool that they'll get to do that in whatever form they choose. So God forbid you play it in 2D. Only do 3D, everybody. You're going to lose too much.
Another 15 years, they're going to have like a Wii U tablet that you can dock your Switch into to make it look like a Wii U tablet.
Yeah. Isn't it weird that they haven't like ever done something where like there's just like, it would have been really cool for them to do something with the Switch 2 where like there was some connectivity between the dock and the handheld so that you could like still output audio on a second screen to a TV and like use the tablet still. It's weird that they just never went for that.
It has to be incredibly cheap because it's kind of reverse in the Wii U, right? Whereas, it's just kind of showing a display. There's nothing actually happening too much in the tablet itself. But yeah, you could have put just some chip in the dock that you could send a video feed over from the tablet or from the Switch. And
it didn't have to be like fantastic range. I mean, the Wii U, you could get like 15 feet away sometimes and it would cut out. But like just to have that option and like some of the, Nintendo Land, like sort of tech demo-y things they did with that were cool. It would be fun to see them do more of that.
Yeah. That was probably,
I guess they've done more of like the screen share stuff between like Switch and Switch 2, but it's not exactly the same.
Right. And I guess that sells more consoles, but
that's true.
If the other person has one too.
Yeah. It was interesting when I was out and about these last couple of weeks because I'll go into like certain Walmarts or certain Targets and their display case is just full of Switch 2s. And then you go into other ones and they don't have a single Switch 2 and it's all like OLED original Switch and like lights.
Huh.
So like, I don't get how hardware is being like divvied out because I doubt it's that they're selling out in these markets. It's just interesting.
Yeah. It seems like it's definitely hit capacity where
if you want one, you're getting one.
Yeah. There's no shortage anymore for sure, but
yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. Anything else jump out at the Direct with you?
I guess not really. What was the final thing? I don't even remember. Gosh,
I remember thinking it didn't. Oh, Fire Emblem. Is that the Fire Emblem thing?
I guess
I remember thinking like this isn't for me, but
I'm might be ready for a new Fire Emblem. For a while there, they were putting too many out, and I was like, the last two, I think, I did not play because it was just like, this is just too much, but I might be ready for a new one. That one looked, I mean, obviously there's only so much. If you're going to keep it in these are guys on a grid and you're moving them around, it's only going to be so impressive, I guess, but the rest of it looked all right.
Yeah. Yeah, the graphics look cool. I mean, I liked the art style, but I'll be curious to see if like they can keep the momentum going on that in the US because like it really took off for a while and then it seems like you said they just oversaturated it and it slowed. Yeah. So especially, I mean, it didn't help that they had like the Fire Emblem Warriors going on at the same time.
And and all that, and then how many were going into Smash Brothers? It was like, oh, another Fire Emblem character in Smash Brothers. It's like, okay.
Another person with a sword. Great. Yeah. I was almost expecting a teaser of like a port of Smash Brothers Ultimate, like honestly.
Yeah.
But maybe we're actually going to get a new Smash Brothers after he's another air ride.
That would be crazy. I don't know what you do. I am looking incredibly forward to the Sonic Cross Worlds. Reviews on that look really good. And
I loved the old school commercial where they just shit on Mario Kart and had the like IndyCar, like it was like straight a reboot of those 90s era commercials. It was awesome.
Yep. And they're doing the thing that everybody has said is, why didn't Mario Kart become Super Smash Kart? And Sega's like, we'll do that then. We'll bring Minecraft and Pac-Man and Mega Man and all those guys. You know?
Yeah, I'm actually really interested in this one too. And that comes out tomorrow as if we're recording, right?
Yep.
Yeah. That might be like a day one grab for me. We'll have to see.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't play their last one, but the two before that were really good
very
games.
Good.
So yeah, should be good. considering.
Yeah, and after like what I consider a lackluster Mario Kart game in Mario Kart World, I'm ready for something a little bit more.
Yep. Yeah.
And I don't think Air Ride's quite going to scratch that itch, so.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think the kart formula, I mean, obviously a lot of that already is based on characters and things that IP, otherwise there wouldn't be Garfield Kart and DreamWorks Kart and all that garbage. But,
right. Yep.
But if it's stuff that you enjoy, then I guess it adds a lot of flavor to it. So.
Yeah, and they've always had like a solid foundation of more like skill base. I think it's more like talent in playing, whereas Mario Kart's just trying to like level the playing field for everybody.
Yep.
Which leads to some jank, but I mean, yeah, I agree with like that transformed one they did was probably one of my favorite kart racers.
Yep. The drift system.
Even with some of like the rough edges. Yeah. Yeah, you feel like you are earning your wins in those for sure.
Yep.
Instead of just getting a lucky draw and a power-up.
Yep.
Or having to go to 8th place to get a lucky draw and a power-up. Obscura, Clara Obscura, you've been playing that?
I started that today, actually.
Ooh. Good?
Yeah.
I've heard good stuff.
I didn't know what to expect because it seems, it's very French and seems very kind of pretentious, that type of thing.
Sure.
And it maybe is kind of that, but it's got a story that really grabs you right away. There's kind of like they don't really get into why it's happening, but there's just like a rapture type sacrifice that happens every year. And then every year there's a group of people.
It's Hunger Games?
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. But they just turn into flowers. They just vanish. But then they try and then there's an expedition every year to try and stop this from happening. And that's kind of where the game kicks off, where you're in that expedition. So the graphics.
What style of game is this?
It's a turn-based role-playing game, but
my favorite.
It's incredibly action oriented.
Okay.
There's dodge and parries, timing, all that stuff well in it. And they do some really smart stuff as far as like how you get your skills and how to use them. You have to hit with normal attacks. There's different ways you earn like ability points to create skills, so it's not just like, well, this person has a lot of magic points so he can use all of his skills or whatever. It's per battle you're managing like how that meter's going up and down and spending the points. So
sure,
it's a kind of a resource management within each battle, even, which keeps it pretty tight and paying attention to a lot, because a lot of time these type of games you just kind of like zone out, right?
Yeah.
Which and sometimes that's what I'm looking for, is that type of game where you can just kind of not think too much. But this game is not that. You need to be on your toes, watching attacks, dodging.
And those are the type of games like that, like turn-based stuff, where I can actually get into them, because like I need like engagement instead of just picking something from a list. So it might actually work for me.
And the graphics are top notch. Like they're one of the few that you look at and it's like, okay, this is this is cutting edge next gen stuff.
Nice. Is it Game Pass? Is that where you're playing it?
Yep, it's on Game Pass.
Okay.
And I don't think it's too long, like 25, 30 hours, which is for that type of game. Yeah, it's not too bad. Once just the first kind of like level that you get to, it's crazy because it's just a huge meadow, or like a really green forest, magical forest. The graphics are insanely bright and colorful. And then you just go into a cave and it just instantly turns into like the most gross gore stuff possible. It was all your people that you were with. And then you just exit out the other side and you're back. And it does a really good job of like changing tones just based on environment, which is kind of
cool. Yeah, that sounds interesting. Maybe I'll have to like at least do some cloud play to just check out the visuals. So
it is incredibly French. Like, there's so much French influence in that.
Do they subtitle it like they're speaking?
No,
French
so
in
it's
game,
it's all in English, but you'll start the game right away. You'll see like the Eiffel Tower is like all twisted up in this world, and there's right now I earned a mime costume who has a baguette on the back of his back. Okay. So it's that type of game. The entire music is very like Gothic French kind of, but it's somehow really good. I don't know.
Okay. Sounds interesting. Yeah, I keep hearing a lot about it, but yeah. Well, maybe with Game Pass, I'll give it a boot up one of these times.
Yeah,
that's pretty new, right? Like last couple months it came out.
Yeah, I think this spring maybe something like
so
that.
It's new to Game Pass then this month.
No, it's been out for a while now, so that's why I kind of hopped in because I'm like, I better get through this before it leaves because I have a feeling it's probably my type of game. I mean, turn-based RPG is my type of game. The setting was a little bit different than I would expected, but yeah, it's. I think I'm going to finish this game, and won't be surprised if it's one of my favorites this year. But
oh, nice. I'm trying to think if I had anything else. I don't think I did game-wise. I just wanted to circle back on. We're reporting late on it in the gaming community, but I think we talked about not that many episodes ago, 2, 3. Anyone familiar with the Game Chasers? Billy of the Game Chasers had gone to YouTube and announced he had a brain tumor. And then just like out of nowhere, because people were posting stuff, like hung out with him, seems like he's doing good, and ended up passing away, which is super sad. Huge hit to the retro community. I think Game Chasers is one of the premier early YouTube gaming channels that made a conscious effort to step up and make a very episodic and produced, almost TV quality YouTube channel, which was unheard of back then.
Right. Because it did. I mean, obviously they were riffing off of like American Pickers, but
right, and that's what they were going for. And I think they originally tried to get it picked up on TV. Was the original goal.
Yep.
Super sad. I mean, he's like our age or my age, closer, a little older than me, I think, maybe a year or so, and family, obviously. But I mean, I never got to meet those guys, but 100%, without a doubt, that channel, enticed me and pulled me into the YouTube community, and me and I'm sure countless others would have never started YouTube channels had it not been for the Game Chasers. So
right.
It feels like you're losing a friend, even though like I don't know these guys, and you just feel for his family and friends out there.
Yep. I mean, for a long time that we were doing the same thing as them, like
yeah, the poor man's version, right?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's and how fast it went too. It just
I guess there's sad. The plus side of it, like at least he didn't suffer, indefinitely, but yeah, still just from discovery to like him passing was brutal.
Yeah.
So, my thoughts go out to his family and friends, and I've been watching a lot of, obviously the algorithm's been pushing their content with all the people visiting in traffic. So I've been watching some of the old episodes, and stuff still holds up. Just a few knuckleheads making stupid video game content, and
right.
It's kind of timeless.
Well, and that's the other thing is that at some point, the stuff that they were finding was no longer around. Like the stuff dried up. Like, yeah, it dried up big time. So the fact that they were able to still make good quality content based just on their personality for the most part.
Yes. Yep.
That says a lot.
Yeah. And the passion projects like the Game Chasers movie and stuff, like all that stuff is great. And it's awesome that, they had a fan base that was willing to help them fund that, and they made a great finished product. They should all be proud of what they accomplished with that channel. So
yep. And I never heard anybody really talk bad about them at all, really, where there's a couple
you
other
think of a community
in the other community, in this community, that's like, oh, they think they're better or whatever, but not them,
Yeah, and in the retro community where there always seemed to be like inadvertent beef, like it just seemed like they kept out of it. Other than that Cheetahman 2 thing, but I think they got that guy fleeced like everybody on YouTube.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's sad. Well, I guess we're probably on the staff picks, huh?
Yep.
Well, I'll let you go first. I'm curious on this one.
Yeah, I finally got to watch a newer movie that came out before you did. That's usually not the case on this. You're usually the cutting edge guy on these movies, so.
Yes, my kids have watched this one, or at least half of it, I think.
Okay.
But not me.
Yeah, the new Superman movie just came on streaming for HBO Max. So we watched that the other night, and this one's, James Gunn. I usually like most of the stuff he does. I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy, even the Super and stuff before that was excellent stuff. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. I mean,
yeah,
I think that my favorite part about this movie is it has no baggage at all. It doesn't care about what happened before or after. There might be some stuff in there that's connected to other things, but it's just kind of like tongue in cheek, whatever. If you know, you know. You don't have to know anything. It doesn't even care about, it doesn't even tell you what you're just supposed to know what the story of Superman, right? He's Superman.
Are they aware that you can't do that with superhero movies?
Right.
That's not how this works. Right. A self-contained movie? What?
Right. And you don't need the origin. You know who Superman is. He grew up in Kansas, blah, 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 blah. And it's just like immediately staged. It's like minute one. It's basically like, oh, Superman lost a battle. So you're just kicked off right into, a story of Superman. And it's really good.
Nice.
Yeah. It's, James Gunn, you wonder, especially Guardians of the Galaxy, you wonder, how much of that's going to translate to Superman, which is more straightforward, not so much silly like Guardians of the Galaxy is. There is a decent amount of jokes in this movie, but they are a lot more earnest in, the Superman stuff.
And it's got an established legacy, right? Like you sort of have the freedom with Guardians of the Galaxy to do whatever you want, but people have a very clear picture in their head of what Superman is.
Yep.
Does the dog steal the show?
The dog is definitely the comic relief of the movie. I would say a lot of it. There's another guy by Nathan Fillion. He's like a Green Lantern. He's in this movie too, and he's kind of does some of that too. But yeah, Superman for the most part is pretty straightforward, straight edge.
What's the runtime on that one?
Only 2 hours, I think, which is
for a superhero movie that feels very conservative.
Yes.
Nice. Any like final credit teasers or anything for like another one down the road?
No, I mean they do have a couple that are just kind of like jokes.
Sure.
But yeah, they're
wow.
Yeah, state of Warner Brothers right now, you have to wonder like what's going to happen, because they when they announced this movie, they were like, I'm doing this movie and this movie, and it was just going to be a whole another universe again. And it's like, I don't know. Maybe just start at Superman and see where it goes,
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. My thing is like, I've never found Superman movies particularly engaging, and he's not like a super interesting superhero to me, just because like, I don't know, he's like the special K of superheroes, right? Like he's just the plain,
right?
Like this was the one that kicked it all off. Like,
and he's obviously massively overpowered because he can do basically everything. So it's like,
how do you defeat the guy who can't be defeated?
Yeah. It's you could look at every situation in the movie and it's like, why didn't he do this instead with his other power? Like, well,
sure. You can't overthink it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that sounds cool. I'm gonna have to check it out. I know I've got access to it on Plex, so.
Yep. Yeah, I would take a look of it, because it's definitely not. It's way more enjoyable than the last couple or whatever that were just destruction fests, you know.
Yeah, and let's not forget that like god awful Batman versus Superman thing, and I think that was maybe the last one I watched with Superman.
That one was terrible.
That was hard to get through.
Yep. Yeah. These are way more enjoyable, and yeah. I appreciate how they are sticking to, you know, he's still wearing just blue and red, you know, straight blue and red. Whereas like nowadays you would think, oh, we got to modify that. We got to modernize that into something else. Like, nah, just whatever. Do it.
Just keep it traditional. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of, I mean, the restraint is probably what made it refreshing, to be honest. Yeah. After what we've been subjected to with Marvel.
Yeah. There's a lot of political commentary in there as well.
Well, that's good. That's that's not a hot topic, you know.
No, it's pretty easy to see, oh, that country is that country in real life, and this country is this country in life. And that person, oh, that's that guy. pretty easy to draw the lines, but
yeah. Oh, cool. I'll have to check that one out. Mine is just another throwback to retro YouTube. I'm sure you remember Captain S, and some of our listeners probably do from the old Screw Attack days. But I watched somebody put out a pretty good like retrospective, like sort of documentary series out on YouTube. It was like an hour-long video. So I watched that because I was like, oh, I totally forgot about Captain S. And then I went back and started watching those episodes in order. And I think there's only like 8 episodes of this web series where it's just like a spoof on Captain N the Game Master, but filmed with like real people. And he's Captain S because he loves Sega. And then they also kind of like incorporate like a lot of Saved by the Bell type acting. And like, I think the one friend he got even in the show calls him like Preppy all the time. Like as a nod to that. But yeah, that is a goofy, pretty funny old web series that still holds up. Obviously it's just like Captain and the Game Master, where he gets like sucked into the Sega and he's like doing these like really shitty voiceovers of like Sega games where they like poorly palette swap this like digitized guy into like Altered Beast and stuff, which is comical to watch now, but like it was kind of mind blowing back then. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, it's an era of YouTube that will not come back for sure, but there was some pretty good creativity back then.
It's too much work now to do something like that.
Yeah, for the 10,000 clicks you're going to get on a video. Yeah. I do recommend it, though. You can still find the stuff. Screw Attack's long gone, obviously, but you can still find the Captain S videos out on YouTube. And if you haven't seen them or just want like a blast of nostalgia, it's still good. Pretty campy, but still good.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, there's a lot of that Screw Attack stuff that I definitely miss. I need to go back and see some of that.
Yeah. Yeah, their stuff, like Team Tiger Awesome, like back in the day, like some of the stuff they were doing, like those old videos are so good. But some of it's probably best left forgotten too. But this isn't one of them. Watch it.
Yep. If you're having a good time with us at Weekend Rental, I think you might enjoy all the great geeky stuff found on the Geekade Podcast Network. They've got podcasts about games, music, movies, and more. Plus, if you order off their secret menu, also known as the Geekade Patreon, you just might find an exclusive movie podcast hosted by Ryan and myself. Check it out over at geekade.com. And hey, if you'd like to turn Weekend Rental into a true multimedia experience, our YouTube and Twitch channels might just be for you.
Well, I suppose that brings us to the Weekend Rental, huh? So the weekend rental, we play a game for a given system. Andy and I will sink some time into it and give our opinions as to whether we would buy, rent, or burn said game. We are talking about a Game Boy Color game. We don't do this one often, that platform. And that is going to be Wario Land 3 for the Game Boy Color. I hadn't played this, I don't think, at all up until this episode and the homework for this podcast. Had you been hands-on at all before that?
I might have played like a few minutes of it, but didn't realize. I don't think that's enough to know that, like, oh, this is a different game. You know, this is definitely different than what they were doing before.
Yeah. So this installment introduces like no death, essentially, which is a big deviation from the previous two entries that have been like just kind of twisted Mario games. And this is, I mean, it's beautiful for the platform it's on. Like, everything's really wonderfully animated. You know, the transformations, the graphics, the character animations, like it feels really cool, but it takes the gameplay in like such a weird direction with the no death thing. And you're left less with a platforming game and more of like a puzzle platformer where you're trying to figure out how to traverse these maze-like levels and solve puzzles, essentially, than you are, you know, something more like a Mario game, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost like a Kirby game where you need the powers to progress specific ways, because you're getting the powers from the enemies in different ways.
But instead of a Kirby game where they intuitively introduce things that make logical sense for you to figure out how to progress, they just kind of throw that part out the window for the most part.
Experiment.
And they're like, you're transformed, like, good luck.
Yep.
Like, I don't know how long it took me to figure out that I had to transform into a zombie to like drop through platforms. Like, probably 15 minutes.
Yeah, there's it's a very Nintendo game. I could see why they would do this, because it's very creative in like what they're doing as far as, I don't know if you call them power-ups, but yeah, transformations is probably the better way to say. And they're very creative, but like you said, it's very much for how open-ended it seems like, it's really not, because you have to go get this thing from this guy to get to this spot.
And know that you need to use it somewhere else. It feels less like power-ups or transformations and more like learning to work with your curse, which feels weird.
Yep, because sometimes the curse is there for a reason. You're like, yep, and then sometimes you're just like, well, I gotta wait out this transformation because nothing's gonna happen here.
And there's also like that whole aspect of like, you know, the coin counter, the achievement at the end of each level, where it's like, it's very clear that they expect you to replay these levels many times over to try and like 100% them. Which I guess isn't, you know, that's in a lot of Nintendo games and Mario games too, but at the same time, like I didn't find myself like drawn into wanting to do that. And it was neat to see a transformation and like play around with it, but it was also incredibly frustrating when, you know, you're 4 levels in and you feel like you've hit like this invisible wall and feel kind of clueless. And like, I didn't want to turn to Let's Plays, and I'm sure it was straightforward and I was missing something obvious, but wandering around the same very small stage over and over again and just coming up empty-handed felt weird.
Yep. And oftentimes you would get a transformation and you didn't want it, so it was just annoying, and you'd have to burn off the clock on that, because you did everything that you could with it, but the guys are still there.
But it wasn't in the right place or the right use case. And
it's a weird game. I'm actually shocked that they did this. I mean, in a modern setting, I could see this game being exactly like, this seems like a game Nintendo would make now. I mean, especially no death, all this stuff, right? But to do it that way on the Game Boy and I mean, really emphasize like sprites and graphics. I mean, obviously it was probably a showcase for the Game Boy Color.
Oh, 100%.
But this had to have been an only Game Boy Color, right? I can't imagine this was.
I think so.
This seemed like the one.
Yeah, the detail is just too good for a traditional Game Boy for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and having played the first two and owning the fourth one on Game Boy Advance, like this feels very out of place as a stopgap between that transition. Because 4 definitely plays more like what you expect a Wario game to be like. And I guess death really isn't so much an object there either, but it's definitely more in line with what you played in your first 2 entries than this one.
Yeah. And when we're speaking of like no death, you're still punished in a lot of ways.
Sure.
I mean, a lot of them will throw you all the way across another screen, just because you got hit.
Yeah.
So,
or turn you into a spring that like reverse, like backtracks your entire progress down multiple layers.
Yeah, that one sucks.
Yeah. But everything that happens to you with these like transformations is really gorgeous and well animated.
Mm-hmm.
It looks really cool. It just also leads to an insane amount of frustration when you feel like you probably were more intending to just have like a lighthearted traditional platformer at your hands, and really they kind of gave you almost like a Krusty's Funhouse type game out of the deal.
Yep. Something like this modern would be really cool. Like, if you had a physics engine and you had different things that happen to you that adjust this physics for you to, let's say, explore an open world and get to different parts using that. I think that would be a lot of fun. I mean, you found out that if you ate too much food, you get heavier, and then you got to do different, different things. It'd be cool.
It almost, what, like, I hate to say it, kind of reminded me of, but that like Jelly Boy game we played, where it's like you don't feel like you've actually like gotten a power up. You just feel like you've gotten this thing on a limited timer that you need to figure out how to use it before you've screwed yourself.
Yeah, at least
it's very much in line.
Jelly Boy seemed like it was like, here's the power up, and this is the obvious use case right in front of you. Where this one is a little bit more, what's going on here,
Yeah. How far did you get into the game?
I played about an hour, so I didn't do too much.
Okay. That's about where I clocked in too.
Does it have bosses or anything? I don't even know.
If it does, I didn't get to them. Yeah. I hit a wall in like that 5th or 4th stage with the sand, and I just I tried and tried and tried, and I didn't want to turn to a wiki, and I just called it. I was like, I think I get the gist of this, and I'm probably going to sell a little short because I'm sure it's got its diehard fans, but I don't know. I just don't think it's the formula for me in a Wario game.
At the same time, what is a Wario? They've kind of experimented with Wario here and there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That GameCube one is weird.
Yeah, that one also is kind of out there, right? But I feel like he needs to be collecting gold. He needs to fart, he needs to fart, and he needs to collect gold. And I don't. Yeah. Not really any of that in here. I mean, it's something.
No, I mean at the outset, the guy's like, you get to keep all the riches you find, but I'm like, I'm getting like 2 coins a level here, and there wasn't even like the coin stash counter at the end, like you always get,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think you would give it on the Byron Burn scale then?
Boy. I gotta say I didn't enjoy it, so I think I gotta burn it, but it's really hard to say that because everything I have praise for the design and everything about it. It's just at the end of the day, I did not enjoy playing it. So that's a burn for me.
Yeah. Well, I thought I was going to be the asshole here, but yeah, I also would burn it because there's probably arguments to be made for this, but I think if you're going to be playing a Wario game, I would say this is the one to skip, if I'm being honest. Just didn't do it for me. as much as I liked a lot of the design elements that we talked about in the animation, like it is a showpiece on the Game Boy Color, but being a showpiece doesn't always translate to being a fun experience, and it's ultimately where this lands.
Yeah. It's the fact that you're kind of like trying to organically create these type of transformations or power-ups.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but it's like both the blessing and the curse of this game, I think. And most of the time, once you got cursed, you hated it more than when it felt good to do it the first time. So
exactly. Plus, some of those things are offensive. Like you eat a donut and you're like a giant obese person. Like that's
one
just
donut.
rude.
Come on.
Yeah, you can have at least a dozen. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think there's a reason this one doesn't get talked about too much for sure.
Yep.
That's safe to say.
Do you think they ever make a new Wario game that isn't like WarioWare?
Maybe. What was the last traditional one we got? Shake It?
Probably, right?
And it was still like motion controls.
That was Wii, yeah.
I mean, if they're going to do it, the Switch 2 would be the time to introduce it.
Mm-hmm.
Dust off some old catalogs. But, I mean, WarioWare is pretty great too, so it's hard to not root for more of that.
True.
Although the last ones have been like iffy.
But they've made 2 of those recently too, and it's, well,
yeah. He's probably due for another 3D platformer. Maybe they should revisit that. Or give Waluigi his own game.
Oh,
it's probably
boy.
time. I still stand by the brilliant idea of they introduce a Mario versus Wario game where you play every stage traditionally as a Mario game, and then there's also like the reverso world where you have to play the levels in opposite order as a Wario or Luigi. I think it'd be cool.
That would be
like
cool.
Flipped like inverse, like the upside down in Stranger Things. But
it'd be cool to have a platformer, and I'm sure there's probably examples of this where one person is trying to get somewhere in the platformer, but somebody else controls the platforms to some degree.
Yeah.
I'm sure that exists out there, but
be like a twist on like what is that, like whatever chicken horse game?
Yep.
Where you're just like more actively in it instead of just placing stuff. I could see that being fun. But yeah, I'm sure you're right. There's probably a dozen Steam games out there that do something like
for sure.
But it'd be nice to see Nintendo try it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
but is that an episode?
Yeah, I think so. So you can send your Wario Land 3 love mail to us at weekendrentalpodcast@gmail.com. We probably won't read it because we're very stubborn with our opinions, but
yeah. If you disagree with my opinions on the Virtual Boy, please let me know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're opening that up since you deleted your comment, so they have to have some sort of input, right?
Tell me I'm wrong in an email, people. Tell me I'm wrong in an email.
We also do a movie podcast with the Geekade Patreon exclusively on there. Mm-hmm. They also have a lot of other cool podcasts that I pretty much guarantee that you would like if you like this one. So definitely check them out. But until next time, be kind, rewind.
Bananas.
You're going to have more room for amiibos. This is exciting.
Ugh, I don't think they're coming back out of the box.